Hi everyone. In this video we're going to go through 4D, division and factorization of polynomials. Quite a bit of theory here, which I think is important to have to refer back to, but with dividing and factorizing polynomials, it's just a matter of getting a little bit of practice in and definitely having examples in your bound reference. Now, dividing polynomials isn't really that difficult. You follow the same steps. If you're looking for linear factors, it might get a little bit complicated, towards the end, but nothing that you shouldn't be able to do. So I think with things like this, you just need to persist and just take your time, make sure you don't make any little mistakes. Basically, we're just going, the focus, I guess, of 4D is looking at factors of polynomials. So you're used to factorizing, I guess, quadratics, but maybe not cubics, quartics, and so on. So that's pretty much the focus of 4D. Now, I'm not going to read through all this because I think it's just complicated without actually applying it to a question. The remainder theorem, we're just looking at, if you're dividing a polynomial, so p of x is divided by beta x plus alpha, so beta and alpha are just numbers, then your remainder is going to be p of negative alpha on beta. So you're just substituting that value into your polynomial. Again, can be a little bit more complicated. It might sound a little bit more complicated than what it actually is. The factor theorem is you have a remainder of 0, basically. So when you're substituting in a value for x, so alpha in this case, so if you're substituting in alpha and you get 0, then x minus alpha is a factor. Okay, again, I think it's just easier to do examples. Sums and differences of cubes, I do have a few examples of these. So we've done difference of perfect squares. Okay, so just knowing these two formulas as well, and you'll be fine with sums and differences of cubes. Anyway, I keep talking about doing examples, so let's get started. All right, find my pen. All right, so given that f of x equals 6x cubed plus 5x squared minus 17x minus 6, find the remainder when f of x is divided by x minus 2. So I'm just going to get my pen up. I had my highlighter in. All right, so that means if we're dividing by x minus 2, then I'm just going to substitute in, let me just go back up here because I don't want to change the terminology. All right. Okay, so we've got this, and we're going to substitute in negative alpha on beta. So basically in this question here, alpha is your coefficient of x, which is 1, and beta is negative 2. So we're going to substitute in negative 1 on negative 2, which is equal to a half. So I just want to make sure I've got my alpha and my beta around the right way. Yeah, don't mind me. Oops, no, I didn't have them around the right way. Beta came first. Don't mind me. I knew it had to be 2. I don't know why I don't think about the answer a bit more. All right, so it's negative 2 on 1, which is just 2. All right, so what we're going to be doing is substituting 2 into our expression there. So we're going to have 6 times 2 cubed plus 5 times 2 squared minus 17 times 2 minus 6. So if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm substituting it into this expression here, or this polynomial. All right, so let's quickly do this. 17 times 2 is 34 minus 6. All right, so 6 times 8 is 48 plus 20, negative 40. All right, so 28 minus 40 is 8, plus 20 gives you 28. Now you can easily do this in your calculator, but you should be able to do it by hand. Just, you know, there's nothing too complicated about that. All right, so the next one we're going to be dividing by x plus 2. So that means we're going to be substituting in -2. All right, let's just see if I can squeeze this onto the page. So just substituting in -2 now. No, I'm going to run out of room. All right, 17 -2 minus 6. All right, so -2 cubed is -8. 6 times -8 is -48. -2 squared is +4, so we're going to have plus 20. -17 times -2 is +34 minus 6. Now from memory, this does equal 0, so let's just make sure it does. All right, did I make a mistake somewhere? Because I don't think it's going to be equaling to 0. -48 plus 20 is -28 plus 34. Oh no, that is 0. Good. All right, so that means, now we don't have to do this for question B, but this means therefore that x plus 2 is a factor. All right, and x minus 2 is not a factor because it didn't equal 0, it equaled 28. So what we need to do, and I don't have much room here, is we need to factorize f of x completely. I wonder if I've got some space up the top. Where did that 2 come from? Okay, don't mind me. Just put a line there. All right, so if we're factorizing it completely, because x plus 2 is a factor, I can divide that through. So what have we got? 6x cubed plus 5x squared minus 17x minus 6. All right, so when you're dividing through, we just look at the first term. So x into 6x cubed is 6x squared. And then I multiply this through. So 6x squared times x is 6x cubed. And then 6x squared times 2 is 12. Now, if you haven't done this before, you probably would have done it last year in year 11. I strongly encourage you to look at the examples in the textbook, the video examples, okay, because I'm probably going a bit too fast. All right, so 5x squared. So what we do here is we subtract. So the first term does disappear. And then we've got 5x squared minus 12x squared. So I ended up with 7x squared. All right, x into 7x squared is 7x. All right, so then I've got 7x squared. I should have dropped down this -17x, sorry. And then 7x times 2 is 14x. All right, so we subtract them again. So -17 minus 14 is -31. I kind of feel like I've made a mistake. Anyway, let's keep going. So it's negative. Yes, I have made a mistake somewhere along the line. All right, I'm going to have to pause to figure out where it is. All right, I realize where it is. Maybe you picked it up. So what I should have had, I might just show you now. This should have been a -7x squared. Now, the reason I knew I made a mistake is because your remainder should be 0, and it was not going to be 0. So I stopped myself and looked back to where I made the mistake. So instead of stopping this video and making out that I'm perfect, I'm showing you that I too make mistakes and I'm actually really rushing. So 5x squared minus 12x squared is -7x squared minus 17x. All right, so x into -7x, so I should have a minus up there as well. So I might just get rid of these. All right, so -7x, yeah, there we go. And then 7x times 2 is negative 14x. All right, so let's subtract this. So we're going to have negative 17 plus 14 is going to, yeah, that's better. It's going to be negative 3x. Let's double check. Okay, and then we're going to be left with negative 3 and then minus 6. Beautiful. All right, that's going to give me 0. And I've just realized I've run out of room again. All right, so let's take everything from here. Not everything. All right, so I know this is a factor, and we need to also factorize this. Now I am going to run out of space, so let's just... Gosh, for those people who are looking at these notes without the video, they're going to be like, what is going on? All right, so we have x plus 2. So I should write f of x. There we go. 6x squared minus 7x minus 3. Excuse me. All right, so I'm running out of room here, but you can go ahead and factorize this. So you can either, I would probably use the quadratic formula, but you can just go and factorize it. I'm just going to pause so I can get the answer for you. All right, so there's the answer for question C. So we've just factorized the polynomial. So instead of being in expanded form, that's what it is in factorized form. And getting it into factorized form can help you find your x-intercepts. So if you wanted to find your x-intercepts, you just let them equal 0 and use your null factor law, and you can find it that way. Find your x-intercepts that way. All right, question 2. Let p of x equal, wow, x to the power of 5, blah, 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 blah. Show that neither x minus 1 nor x plus 1 is a factor of p of x. So what you need to do is substitute in p of 1 and p of negative 1. So because it's number 1, it's not going to be hard. So 1 to the power of 5 minus 3 times 1 to the power of 4 plus 2 times 1 to the power of 3 minus 2 times 1 to the power of 2 plus 3 to the power of, times 1 plus 1. All right, so we've got 1 minus 3 plus 2 minus 2 plus 3 plus 1. All right, so they cancel each other out, so do the 3's. So what do we get? Just 2. Okay. All right, let's do p to the negative 1. I can see I'm running out of room again. All right, now negative numbers, we hug them. All right, this is going to be very frustrating to do because it is negative. Here we go. Oh, I didn't really need to put that in brackets. Let's put it in brackets anyway, just because I accidentally did it. All right, negative 1 to the power of 5. So if you've got a negative number to an odd power, it stays negative. So an even power, it becomes positive. So the next one's going to be, so negative 1 to the power of 4 becomes 1. So we've got minus 3. Negative 1 cubed becomes negative 1, so minus 2. So negative 2 minus 3 plus 1. So we've got negative 4, negative 6, negative 8, negative 11, negative 10. I'm actually going to check my answers because I like to be correct. All right, so they are correct. I should actually go on and say that 2 is not equal to 0, therefore, what are we? X minus 2 is not a factor. And then negative 10 is not equal to 0, therefore, not x minus 2, sorry. Let's just get rid of that. X minus 1 and x plus 1 is not a factor. All right, because it did say show that, so we should really explain why it's not a factor. All right, and then question B, we got to do a division. It's going to be fun trying to squeeze into here. Let's try to be neat. All right, so we're divide, that's our divisor. We're in x to the power of 5 minus 3x to the power of 4 plus 2x cubed minus 2x squared plus 3x plus 1. Now remember, if you're missing a power, you just have to add it in just with a coefficient of 0. All right, x squared into x to the power of 5 is x cubed. So x5 minus x, oops. Where did I go wrong? X cubed minus, oh well, we'll keep going. Sorry, I just had a small panic because the powers aren't the same, but it's all good. So we do the same thing, so we're going to subtract that now. So x to the power of 5 minus x to the power of 5 is 0. Okay, so they'll always cancel each other out. Now, we can't subtract x cubed from x to the power of 4, so that can just stay there, minus 3x to the power of 4. But we can do 2x cubed minus negative x cubed, which gives you plus 3x cubed. All right, so we start the process again. So x squared into negative 3x to the power of 4 gives you negative 3x squared. All right, so we're going to have negative 3x to the power of 4. And then we've got negative 1 times that is plus 3x squared. All right, so we're subtracting again. All right, so bring down the 2, did my wrong power, sorry. Oh no, I didn't. All right, so I should have brought that, sorry, negative 2x squared down. So we're going to have now 3x cubed, and then negative 2x squared minus minus 3x squared, so minus 5x squared. All right, so let's go through the process again. So x squared into 3x cubed is 3x. Then we've got 3x cubed minus 3x. So let's bring down that plus 3x. All right, so the negative 5x squared stays. And then we've got 3x minus negative 3x, so it's plus 6x. And let's go through the process again. So x squared into negative 5x squared is just negative 5. And then negative 5 times negative 1 is positive 5. Bring down the plus 1. So then we're left with 6x, 1 minus 5, so negative 4. So again, just checking my answer before I move on. So the question is asking, find the remainder. So this is your remainder, 6x minus 4. But if we were to, oh gosh, that wasn't meant to happen. I was meant to highlight that. There we go. All right, so that's your remainder. But if we were writing the polynomial in factorized form, all right, so we know that, so x squared minus 1 wasn't a factor, but we can just write the divisor, squared minus 1, and then the quotient, so x cubed minus 3x squared. And what do we got? Plus 3x minus 5. And then we write the remainder, so plus 6x minus 4. Now we didn't have to do that for this question because it only asks for the remainder. So the remainder is 6x minus 4. All right, I'm not liking that that hasn't saved, so I'm going to just pause for a bit to figure out why it's not saving. All right, let's move on to question 3. I don't think I will do 4 and 5 in this video because they're a little bit longer. So let's just have a quick look at question 3, which isn't overly that difficult. So we're looking at sums and differences of cubes. So remember the word difference means just to subtract, okay? So if I go back up to the notes, which I should have in front of me, but I don't. All right, so if we've got the difference between cubes, so x cubed minus a cubed, we're going to have x minus a as a factor, and then x squared plus ax plus a squared. So I might actually just write that down so I don't have to keep scrolling when I'm doing my video. And then you've also got the addition of cubes. So we'll do them as well. Sorry, I'm just writing this down. All right, awesome. Okay, let's scroll back down. Yeah, my computer is not liking all this writing. It's really taking up a lot of memory, so that's why it's a bit glitchy. All right, so the first one, question A, we've got 8a cubed plus 27b squared. So our formula, if we're looking, so this is the addition of cubes. All right, so I'm just going to write that down here. So question A, we've got x cubed plus a cubed. And that, when factorized, becomes x plus a. And then x squared minus ax plus a squared. Now the value of a and x, we just do the square root. All right, so in this case, we've got to do the square root of 8a cubed, which is going to be 2a. And then the square root of 27b cubed is just 3b. So we just substitute in 2a and 3b into our expression. So 8a cubed plus 27b cubed is equal to 2a plus 3b. And I might just do that so we don't get confused. And then x, 2a squared. Put brackets, remember you're squaring 2a, not just the a. Plus, and then we multiply them together, so 2a times 3b, and then 3b squared. All right, let's just tidy that up because that's not very neat. Not that, you know, anything else has been very neat on here. All right, 2 squared is 4, so we're going to have 4a squared. 2a times 3b is 6ab. And then 3b squared, so 3 squared is 9. All right, so there you go, factorising 8a cubed plus 27b cubed. All right, you can do the same with question C. Question B, you're just looking at the difference this time. I might do question D just because, you know, it's nice to do another one. And then you can just do B and C on your own. Remember, these questions are taken from the textbook, so you don't need to, if you want to check your answers, you can just go through the textbook. And I'm writing the square root when I should be taking the cubed root. Sorry. It should be the cubed root. All right, so then we've got a minus b, and then the cubed root of a plus b cubed is just a plus b. All right, so then we just substitute them in. So I'm going to have a minus b. Now I'm going to put brackets around it because we don't want to make a mistake. All right, so I'm just doing the x plus a part. All right, so that's it there. Okay, we've got our x and then our a. All right, and then we've got x squared, so a minus b squared minus a minus b, a plus b, plus a squared. All right, so we just need to tidy this up a little bit. All right, so a plus a is 2a, and then negative b plus b, so we're just going to leave it as 2a. Then a minus b squared becomes a squared minus 2b plus b squared. Then I should probably put square bracket around here. A minus b times a plus b just becomes a squared plus b squared. And then a plus b squared becomes a squared plus, actually I just realized I made a mistake, so that should be 2ab plus b squared. All right, so this should be 2ab. All right, now I can see we're going to be doing some cancelling here, so I might just do some cancelling in red. So I've got an a squared here and a negative a squared. It's going to cancel out with that one. And this b squared is going to cancel with this b squared. And this 2ab is going to cancel with this 2ab. So now I'm left with 2a times a squared plus b squared. Oh, what is the question asking? Because I don't necessarily factorize it. I can factorize a squared plus b squared. Oh no, I think that might just leave the, I could do 2a cubed. Hold on, I might just see what the textbook wants. All right, in my cancelling, I think all right, this one here, the a squared, oh, okay. Sorry, girls. This should have been minus. Probably good that I checked because my answer was incorrect. All right, so in the middle, the a minus b times a plus b should be a squared minus b squared. All right, so then that will give you that b squared does not cancel out. I'll just get rid of that red line. All right, I've got b squared minus negative b squared is another positive b squared, and then another positive b squared. So we've got 3b squared. All right, so another good lesson to take your time and just be careful with your negatives. Obviously, I work a lot faster and it's also hard to talk. That's not an excuse, but also a good lesson to check your answers as you go. All right, I'll leave it there and I'll do the other 2 questions in another video. All right, bye girls.